Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shadow bringing you guys another video today. And today we are finally going to be doing the Sakazuki deck list. I kind of feel a little confident of where it's at least I like how it's playing out. But before we do get into that, just want to remind you guys that we do have a 15% off discount link in the description for Dueling Guard. Be able to get that gear that you guys like, mats, deck boxes, binders, whatever you guys like. That option is there for you guys. So yeah, take advantage of it. And as always, if you guys have any recommendations of videos that you guys would like to see, make sure you guys leave it down in the comments below. Soon we'll start vlogging again, definitely some vendor vlogs, since that's what I have been doing recently, which is kind of why I slowed down. Other than the meta just kind of wasn't it for me. But without further ado, let's get right into the Sakazuki deck list. Alright, without further ado, the first thing that I started off with is the main man himself. We do have Sakazuki leader. So for those of you guys that were not around back in like OP5 to like EB01, or I think it was OP6, this man reigned supreme. So has an activate main, pitch a card from hand, draw a card. So a free cycle every single turn, and when you attack, you can reduce something by 1 cost. So this is already reducing for free, unlike Lucci where you have to swing and mill too, and you kind of didn't get a choice of what was going into the trash. Sakazuki get to fill it however you want and just swing without having to mill the trash. It absolutely busted card, and this was actually a very crazy color combination of blue and black. So very great leader. I've been using just my little bent one. That's been my my locals card. But let's get into the first card in the deck list. We are running a 4 of Suru, obviously just a staple 2k Navy card, which is for 1 Don, -2 cost from your opponent. So this is one of the ways that we reduce a lot of our opponent's characters, especially like early game. Free -2, well, not free, but 1 Don -2 cost, brings a 4 cost down to a 2. With leader swing, you can reduce it again, and then Brook can pop. So very great card. Unfortunately, you just cannot grab it off of Rebecca from the trash or Mancherry, but we have ways to bring this back, which we will go over later. So first card, and next card, which we did talk about, was Mancherry. So I'm running it at a 2 of currently. I do see it quite often enough, especially since I do use Sakazuki ability quite often. So it's an activate main for 1 Don. You have to put 2 cards to the bottom of the deck, and you're able to add 1 black card. So that's important. You can't grab a blue card, not that I'm running much, but you grab 1 black card and put it back to your hand from a cost of 3 to 5. So just puts more of my top end out of range that I would like to grab. But this is really just to cycle Rebecca back into my hand, which Rebecca can grab me a 3 to 7. So mainly just to loop Rebecca, just to kind of stay in the game a lot longer than I really should be. Next card, not a Navy card as well. We are running a 2 of Uta. So in my original list in the earlier videos, I was not running Uta, but Uta is very, very good against Zoro, since it has an ability of cannot be KO'd by leaders. So Zoro typically wants to swing at a body, knock it, and then swing face. He can swing in the Uta, but Uta will not be KO'd and just going to swing at my face. But also has another ability of activate main, rest -2 cost. So another form of reduction for me. Again, very good in the Zoro matchup, and if this can stick in another any other matchups, it's good to just continue to reduce and help me with popping or bottom decking the rest of my opponent's field. Just no counter, and again, not searchable off like a brand new, but a very good card. 2 of is fine. It has come up for me. In the Merit, not so much, because it could just get Hound Blaze or Sword. So it's there specifically for the matchups. Really good for Zoro. Next character we are running is a brand new. So originally I was running Tashigi's, but I have shifted the list a lot. So I'm currently on 3 brand news. This is a good way to fill the trash as well as look for some of my Navy cards. I do need to kind of fix some of my ratios, because there have been times where I have whiffed brand new. But yeah, brand new on play. Look at top 3, grab 1 navy, trash the rest. So it's a good way to try to get my Tempest Kick online, especially comboing it with my leader ability, since I am pitching one and drawing another one. So, you know, if I have this on my turn 1 play, if I'm going second, I'm basically putting 2 cards in the trash, and then if I use Sakazuki ability, that's 7 away from Tempest Kick. Really, I only need to get 6 more because Tempest will count itself as the 10th card. But not only that, brand new, since it's a 3k stat line, when I do Hound Blaze it, Hound Blaze something on the field, I can beef up brand new up to a 6k swing. So this can even swing at UP Luffy, which is very, very good. But yeah, I mean, even then, if I have nothing else, I'm attaching Don and just starting to poke with brand new. And people think that this isn't gonna be a problem, but it really turns into a problem for them. Next card in the deck list, you're just running a 1 of Barto. Really just threw this in for the Zoro matchup because, again, I was kind of teching more toward the Zoro matchup. Still need to test more into it. But it's good. I have played it out in other matchups. It's kind of just obviously it's a 2k blocker. This can be grabbed by Rebecca and also Mancherry, so it's a way to cycle. You could Mancherry into Rebecca, then Rebecca grab Barto and play it out still if you still have the Don to kind of just double block her up for the turn. And if able to, you could protect Mancherry with like Barto, then cycle him back the next turn. So just a way to kind of loop a blocker around. That's pretty much all it's there for. Might honestly just cut it because Zoro matchup's pretty much gonna either be I'm gonna get there or I'm not. So not sure if I should just tech more for the blockers, if not just cut it, which I'm leaning more towards cutting it and adding something else along the lines of just more reduction or other things, which we'll go over later in the video. Next card we are running is a 2 of Tashigi, which is a activate main. Rest this character, give something -2, and again a 2k, so a 2k that can be grabbed from the trash off of Rebecca, so it's a way to just cycle counter. Also in like last resort can be used for more reduction because this can be knocked unlike the Uta, but it's essentially going to act like a pseudo blocker because they're not going to want you to consistently have that reduction. So I do like to have the Tashigi in there for that purpose. Next card we have is a 2 of Hina. Hina's such a great card. For 3 Don, give something -4 cost. I might actually bump this up, especially since, you know, now Sakazuki does not have access to Ice Age or like Great Eruption, which is a consistent reduction unlike Tempest Kick. But not only that, it's for 3 Don, you're establishing a body that your opponent might have to actually address. If not, this is going to start swinging at their face and actually put pressure without having to attach any Don, unless of course you're facing like a UP Luffy 1 Don on there. You're swinging for 6k. But definitely I think I'd rather have something that can actually start swinging at my opponent if they don't address it. If not, if this goes to trash, I can always grab it with Rebecca, play it out with Rebecca, and get another -4 cost on something. Which again, -4, you basically bring a 6 cost in a range for a Hound Blaze, or with Leader Swing, you bring in a 7 cost in a range for a Hound Blaze or Sword play. So really good card. On to the next one, and this is going to be the last 3 costs. It is my favorite card, Brook. So Brook from EBO1, which is an on play and when attacking -1 cost, and if there's a 0 on the field, you can pop it. So very good card. Love this card. Again, you're trying to reduce what's on the field, so you do have the Uta, the Suru Uta, and then we have Hina. And then Brook will be able to give it another -1 and be able to pop the board. Or it's just another way to have reduction, because if you're not trying to aim for a pop play because you don't have the reduction, at least getting it in the range for like Hound Blaze or Sword is a very good way to get there with an extra plus or a -1 off this card alone. But yeah, Brook has a lot of merit. On to the next card, which is probably one of the best black cards, is Rebecca. So it's on play. Add up to 1 character with the cost of 3 to 7 from the trash to your hand. So this is a way to be able to grab pretty much, you know, your Brooks, Hinas, 2Ks, you know, the Barto, again, the cycle, established blockers, even some of the top end that I am running back from the trash and give you just an extended play. Very good card. And again, Mancherry is used to loop the Rebekahs to, again, just continue to block her up and just grab cards from the trash, mainly the 2Ks, or again, extending out reduction from like the Hina. But you could always grab Hina from the trash, or I grab a 2K and then play out a Hina from your hand if you already had it. So, you know, you don't have to play what you grab. So obviously a lot of people are very familiar with the Rebekah, with Sakazuki used to be Rebekah Hina Lucci. But yeah, this card is a menace, especially back when we had Morio. Oh my goodness, it was so good. But on to the next card. We are running a 3 of Kuzan. I felt like 3 of was perfectly fine. There are times where I see Kuzan too much, more often than I would like. But again, this is, you know, with Sakazuki leader ability, you are able to just pitch it and draw another card. But Kuzan on play, draw 1 card, and when attacking, you can give something -4. So again, this is something for reducing cost. So swinging for 5, you pretty much can poke into anything, bring some of the top end down or anything in a range. And again, you pair it with Hina, you're bringing a 10 cost down to a 2 cost with him swinging on play, leader swing, and then if you have Brook, you can pop a 10 cost. So absolutely great card to bring it in the range. Unfortunately, like again, into Zoro, this can just get swung into, and that's pretty much going to be the main target. They're going to want to rest this and swing. So it's kind of iffy on playing it out, but that's where you kind of want to focus on other types of ways to kind of get that reduction in there. But such a good card. Next card we got is a 2 of Rob Lucci. On play, you place 3 cards from your trash and pop a 2 cost and a 1 cost. Card is very good. The only thing with it is, since the main form of reduction in this deck is Tempest Kick, Tempest Kick requires you to be at 10 cards in the trash. So if I have to play a Rob Lucci very early on in the game, I'm pretty much putting myself in a bad situation for late game, for popping a lot of the top end bodies. But honestly, I have been considering on cutting Lucci down to a 1 of and adding in another card instead. Very often, I'm very rarely playing this card. Most of the time, I'm pitching it first for a draw cycle because, again, this can be grabbed off Rebekah. I did like it at first because, again, you're establishing a body that can poke for 6. But the amount of reduction, and again, you need to turn Tempest Kick on very early, or at least as soon as possible. This is going to delay that by 3 cards, pretty much undoing what a brand new and leader ability did your first turn. So definitely considering on cutting it down to a 1 at least, and maybe just altogether getting it out of the list. Rebekah Hina Lucci is just not as good as it used to be, unfortunately. Next card in the list, we are running a 1 of Shirahoshi. Again, this is pretty much, it's just a blocker on play, reduce something by 4. So this is a way to just be able to get something else reduced and then being able to put it in range for like a Brook or a Hound Blaze play. But again, pretty much teching against Zoro, because I would rather him swing into a blocker than get rid of my Kuzan, which Kuzan will be more useful in being able to get rid of his top end, like the Mihawks, pretty much the Mihawks. But yeah, Shirahoshi has come up a couple times. But again, I could just go for more of a pure Navy build just to kind of give myself a little bit more consistency with brand new and just kind of admit the Zoro matchup. But yeah, very good card. Next card on the list, we do have a T-Bone, which is a 2K counter. It does have an on-play KO 2 cost. Very rarely am I actually using it for that ability. I think I've ever used it like twice in testing, maybe even once. But this is mainly a 2K that can be cycled off of Rebekah, you know, a way to just get it back, if not brand new, so at least I don't whiff a target. But T-Bone is pretty decent. If you're going to be going more on a TCG searcher build, I would up this count. I'll explain that later. And the one card that I've been testing lately and I absolutely love, and what I'm considering I'm bumping up, is Jozu. So Jozu is not searchable. It's not a Navy card. It's a Whitebeard Pirates, but does have an on-play return up to one of your characters other than this character's owner's hand, and then return up to one character at the cost of 6 or less back to their hand. So again, with Sakazuki leader ability, with the swing, you can bring a 7 cost in the range for Jozu and then pretty much take a body off the field to relieve some pressure from your opponent to you, and pretty much buy yourself some time, and then you're getting a 7k body swing. But not only that, you can combo Suru with the Jozu and your leader ability. You can bring a 9 cost back to hand with Jozu, or even just an 8 if you just want to, use the reduction for something else. But if your opponent has nothing on the field and you have, like, let's say a double Suru from an earlier turn, you can play out the Jozu, bounce Suru, and then bounce your other Suru back, and that's giving you 4k encounter back to your hand, or bouncing a brand new back to use it for a search potentially. So not only is it used to bounce your opponent's cards, but you can use it to bounce your own. So very good card, and I would definitely drop a Lucci for sure and add another Jozu, just because, again, Lucci, you're popping 2 bodies, but you're messing with your trash. Jozu, you have the ability of being able to give yourself cards back, and not only that, it's also got a 1k counter, so you're kind of giving yourself some more, counter power for sure. But yeah, that's definitely where I'm leaning toward, cutting Lucci, going 3 Jozu, and maybe even 4, because this is a good way to be able to you're not KOing or bottom decking, but it's, again, you're just removing it off the field to buy yourself some type of time. Next card in the list, we are running a 3 of Jack. What else can we say about Jack? This character gains +4 cost on its own, and you may rest this character, draw 1 card, and you KO a 3 cost. So with the amount of reduction, I could run more reduction, but if you're able to get stuff in range for Jack, you can bring a 7 cost into range with a Kuzan swing or a Shirahoshi play or a Hina play, and then you can use Jack to pop that character, and then you're cycling your hand out with some other cards. So Jack is very good, especially in the mirror, because they're gonna have to waste so many cards to get rid of this. Other decks do have options of getting rid of Jack, like Bonnie does have Shanks, Red does have Divine Departure, as well as Bomb Shanks. But if Jack can stick, this thing is a menace, especially comboing it with my next card, and that is 10 drop Kuzan. So depending on how the meta goes, if we are in a very tall meta, this is where he's going to come in clutch, because it does have a on your turn give everything on your opponent's side of the field -5 cost, and on play KO up to one of your opponent's 0 cost characters. So on play, let's say they have a smoker on the field, 5 cost smoker, this can knock it. Cavendish, or a lot of things can be KO'd by Kuzan, and this helps being able to reduce and pop a lot of things, especially if you make it late game. I have lost games just trying to establish Kuzan though, so you really have to be wary of when you do play it. This is not searchable off of brand new because he is former Navy, not just Navy. I do see a world of cutting it, but I do like it so far of testing, especially comboing Jack with the Kuzan. I could see myself cutting a Jack, going down to 2, and giving myself, again, some more options, but I've liked the list so far. That's pretty much it for the characters. Going on to my event cards, we do have a 4 of Tempest Kick. Again, this is the reduction here. For 1 Don, draw 1 card and give something -3 as long as you have 10 cards in the trash. Pretty much a Great Eruption, except the conditional reduction. If I see this early on, I'm going to tap 1 Don, grab a card, and then cycle again, and that'll give me 2 cards in the trash. No point in holding on to Tempest Kick very early on, especially depending on the matchup, you might just get aggroed out. So I'd rather find different options and just start building trash for my late game Tempest kicks. If we don't make it that far, and I've seen all of them too early, you know, we're kind of in a situation. But again, that's why we try to play out the brand news, cycle early, and play less Rob Lucci's just so we can get these active as soon as possible. And for my removal events, we are running Ama no Maroku sword. So we're running this at a 2-of currently, and this is basically a Rob Lucci instead of KOing, you're bottom decking. So bottom deck a 2 cost and a 1 cost. Very good, might up it to 3. And then Houndblaze, bottom deck one of your opponent's characters cost a 2, and then you can buff your leader or character by plus 3k. So both very good removals. Houndblaze is good just to kind of put pressure on your opponent, because then you can start beefing up your lower cost characters and start poking. And sword, your bottom decking, just, you know, it's a Rob Lucci just without a body on the field. So and I think I would rather honestly bottom deck more often than not, and then KO, especially if you're in a mirror match. But that's pretty much it for the removal events. The last 2 cards in the deck, I am teching in 2 Black Vortex. And Black Vortex is negate one of your opponent's abilities or character or leaders, and then minus 4,000 power during this turn. So if you're facing a Zoro, you have 2 Dawn up, and let's say he's trying to swing into a character, you can play out the Black Vortex, reduce it by -4. So if he only has 3 Dawn, it's now a 4k swing, and will not be able to restand the swing at face. So this is pretty much a way to protect the Kuzan and, you know, not take a hit to face. Pretty much the only reason why I'm running it. Other than that, again, it's just like a -4k. So it is a counter event. Sometimes I do have a lot of Dawn where I'm not using it. I could have swung bigger, but why swing bigger when you can kind of give yourself some type of protection the next turn? Unless you're facing green, you know, you obviously have Hody Jones that can rest a Dawn. But that's pretty much where my deck list is at. Some of the substitutions that you can add, and I do have them here. I do have the TCG Searcher. So again, I'm still testing and might do some different things, but when my first local, I did get 2nd place. I was running Tashigi's and brand news. This gave me more consistency in being able to find pieces like Houndblaze and Sword or different types of reduction. But if I do go to adding the Searcher Tashigi, I definitely would probably cut the Barto. Again, probably just cut Lucci and a Jack. And these Tashigis are going to turn into more T-Bones. I'm losing out on reduction, but Tashigi can't search Tashigi, so there's no point in really having this when I have a chance of whiffing, which I have done, believe it or not, on a Tashigi. Or I could add Navy HQ, which is on play, give something -1, and then you can rest it, give something else -2. So this is another -2, well, essentially on its on play, but after that you can just continuously tap it once per turn for a -1. So those are other cards I'm considering on adding, but currently this is where I am at. Gonna continue to test it and see how locals continue to go, but definitely cutting a Lucci for another Jozu, that's for sure gonna happen. But yeah, that's the end of my deck list profile. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you guys are comment down below what you guys think of the deck list, any changes I should try out, or yeah, I mean, any suggestions would be good to see if I can kind of make more tweaks and just continue to play it and testing. But as always, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment down below what you guys thought, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.